Did they erase Boy Erased?
Of a minor flight delay.
Hello, I'm Matt Haslam, and welcome to Powered and Protected by Rainbows. And on today's show, we're talking about the movie Boy Erased, because my boyfriend and I went to see it this past weekend, and by the way, it was a fantastic film. I cannot recommend it enough. It blows your mind. Like, my boyfriend cried a little bit in one part, and I cried, I bawled my eyes out the entire time. I'll be completely honest. Just, so good. And so sad of a film. I literally cannot recommend this film enough. But we're going to talk a little bit about what is in the film. So I kind of want to say, hey, just in case there's a spoiler here, you might want to watch it before you watch this video. But a lot of what we're going to be talking about today is what happened before the film came out, because to me that's much more interesting. And you see, this entire show, PBR, is not just about the LGBTQ community. It's not just about, my life journey through this entire thing, not just about tips and tricks and stuff like that, of how to come out and so on and so forth. Not just about that, but this is also, sometimes we have to critique something the community does. And that's what today's show is all about, because I don't think they did it right. Let me explain that. The movie Boy Erased, if you're not aware, is, and I'm not giving any spoilers away here, it's a movie all about this boy who is the pastor's son, and the pastor and his wife don't really accept the fact that their son is gay. And so the son gets sent off to gay conversion therapy. And this affects thousands of people every single year. There are tens of thousands still in gay conversion therapy as we speak right now, which is horrendous. And the movie Boy Erased is trying to get 50 bills in 50 states, which means 50 bills that say this is illegal to have conversion therapy because it has been scientifically proven time and time again to lead to suicide and a lot of mental health problems down the line, because you're basically saying that this part of your DNA isn't supposed to be there, even though it is, and it's perfectly fine for it to be there. So what's really interesting about this film is that it showcased how much this affects someone who goes through it. It even shows someone who commits suicide from having been tortured in conversion therapy, which I honestly assimilate to prison, and much worse than prison, because they keep saying that you're free to go anytime you want, but it shows in the movie that you aren't, that they try to stop you, and that they physically stop you, and that they lock all the doors, they guard you in by huge fences that you can't escape from, and it's just really horrible. And in fact, in the film, without giving any spoilers away here too much, the one kid who does kill himself in the film, which is based on a real life story here, you gotta understand that they had his family come in and beat him, physically beat him, before he decided to kill himself. And so the movie Boy Erased is a fantastic film that they knew was a fantastic film. And what's horrible about this is because throughout all the advertising, they were saying, well, we want everyone to go see this film.
I really hope that the movie is going to speak to mostly, I really want to communicate with parents.
They had stars like Troye Sivan and Nicole Kidman in this film. And we're going to talk about both of those in just a second, because how they advertised this film was the complete opposite of how they should have advertised it. I mean, yes, for this kind of film, you want to attract the gay community into going to see the film, because that's your main target audience that are going to actually go out and spend the money to go to the theater and watch this thing. And for that, they used Troye Sivan, who, by the way, as you might tell, is my favorite star of all time. Troye Sivan is an amazing artist that I cannot recommend his music and his films enough. He's just, oh my god, totally adorable. But besides being cute and being an amazing artist, he is the main star right now in the gay community. So when this film was coming out, he is in the film, his music is used in the film. He did an entire song for the film called Revelation that I highly recommend. By the way, my boyfriend bought me that album, and it is just like heaven listening to the album for the soundtrack of the movie. But he was on all these different TV shows advertising the film. And you see, when he's on TV, he's attracting his audience. And 99.9% of his audience is the LGBTQ community. Let's face it. They used him as the main marketing ploy for this entire film. And that's great, because he basically has the LGBTQ community in the palm of his hand. Because he's such an amazing artist, and he's been working with that audience for how many years now. But the other star in the film, Nicole Kidman, let's face it, is a lot more popular with the general audience, not just the LGBTQ community. Nicole Kidman is a big Hollywood star, and they could have used her a lot more. But the only show that I can tell that she went on to advertise this film, Boy Erased, was Ellen. And if you're not familiar, Ellen is an LGBTQ star herself. So basically that's the target audience she attracts as well, or at least an audience that's sympathetic to the LGBTQ community. So the one time you use the non-LGBTQ star, you put her on an LGBTQ show. That makes no sense, because you're basically just attracting that one specific audience. The other side of this, which was really confusing, was the fact that all throughout their advertising for this film, it kept saying the movie is going to come out on November 2nd. And it technically did, but it only came out in select theaters. Select theaters meaning basically New York and LA. 2 cities. Congratulations, very select cities for this film. Then, the following week, it was supposed to come out in more select cities across America, and it came out in like maybe 5 or 6 cities, including Philadelphia, New York, LA, and others. But for a vast majority of the nation that wants to go see this film, they are kind of far away cities to go to watch a movie. Let's face it, I mean, I would go to Philadelphia to see a concert, but I really wouldn't go see just a movie in Philadelphia. So, if you're like me, you had to wait an entire extra week to go see this film, yet again. Which, by the way, was Thanksgiving weekend. So, everyone's out holiday shopping, and on Black Friday and stuff, or with their families on Thanksgiving, and that's the week you premiere it in the whole nation, except for the fact that it wasn't in many theaters at all. It really wasn't in too many theaters around here in, middle class America kind of area, which is really, really fascinating to me from a marketing strategy. I mean, the entire time you're advertising this film, you're saying, Troye Sivan and Nicole Kidman are on TV saying, we want everyone in America to go see this film. We want not just our LGBTQ community to go see this film. And by the way, the entire time you're just advertising to that one audience. You're not really pushing yourselves outside of that audience too much. So you're saying one thing, but you're doing a complete opposite. Not only are you only basically attracting the LGBTQ audience, but when you do finally release it 3 weeks later, it's Thanksgiving week. And it's only again in select theaters. Even the theater that we went to go see it in is a smaller theater. It's not one of the big, Fox or any kind of big theater chain. It's a small theater that we went to go see it in, which is a real shame. Because when you say that you want this film to go out there to everyone and you want everyone to see this film, you're not really showing it. And when you finally attract that audience, even if you did attract audience outside of the community, where are they going to go see it at? Are they going to really wait another month and a half, 2 months to see it in Redbox? That's the real question. Will this film actually succeed, even though the actual filmmakers and the studios that made this film set it up in every way to fail? Will it still succeed? And that has yet to be seen. I haven't taken a look at the numbers yet on opening weekend, but I imagine they're not that great, because being in only select theaters, we went to go see it on opening day. On opening day in that theater, it should never have been able to, we should have never been able to just walk up to the theater and get tickets last minute. But we were. And in the theater, there was maybe 10 to 15 people, some of which didn't even pay to go see that movie, but went to see the movie before it and just stayed around. So it's very interesting for me to find out the numbers of the film, see how well it actually did, because I can't imagine it did actually well, because they set it up in every way to fail. Again, they said November 2nd, and then came out in 2 theaters in America. And then the following weekend, only a handful. And then finally, you send it out to more theaters in America. Still not all of them, still not the popular ones. And it's Thanksgiving week, so who's going to go see the film on Thanksgiving week, really? So it's going to be interesting to find those numbers out, because they set it up to fail, which is a real shame for this film, because it is an amazing film. It has some amazing stars in it. And the unfortunate part, really, in all of this is the fact that the studios are going to look at this and say, well, here's how much we invested, and here's how much we got in return. And if, in fact, it fails, they're not going to notice that it's their own damn fault for it failing. They're just going to see a failure on the numbers. So they're going to stop making these LGBTQ films. And that's the real shame in all this. They're going to see this as a failure of where they put their money. And soon enough, we might not see as many LGBTQ films out there anymore, because they didn't do this one justice. Even studios that aren't a part of this film specifically are going to still see the numbers from this one and recognize, hey, maybe this fad of LGBTQ films is over, and Love Simon type films, they did well back in the day, but they're not doing as well right now. So let's not make another one. Let's not spend more money after bad here. But they're not going to see that the studios are the ones that are at fault here. Because the film itself was fantastic, and I cannot recommend it enough. And that's why I want you guys to go out and see it. Because really, without you guys going to see it, this might fail. And it might just look like a numbers game in the end. Sadly, that's all it is to studios anymore. But with your help, we can actually make it a success, despite them trying to make it fail. So with all that said, if you have any thoughts or comments on the film itself, or want to let me know what you thought of the film once you go see it, then please do leave them in the comments down below. Also, if you have any ideas for future episodes of the show, or any movies that you'd like to see me critique in the future, please do leave those in the comments down below, because I would love to hear from you guys out there. And thank you so much for watching. Tune in next time to PBR. For right now, I'm Matt Haslam, and see us next time here on Powered and Protected by Rainbows. Bye for now. If you like this show, want to support what we do, and get this awesome t-shirt in the process, please use the link on your screen right now or in the description box below to get your t-shirt right now.